Good evening on this frigid, cold Sunday evening, Sunday night prime time on the East Central Plains of Kansas on KOFO Radio, 1220, 1037, and KOFO.com live. Also catch the podcast after the show concludes that Sean Torres will put up on there. John Jacobson with you tonight on the Jacobson Report with Coach Patrick Mahomes Jr., the Georgetown legend. I want to thank our sponsors, Jim and Cindy Jandron, with Midwest Renewable Energy, LLC, ethanol, renewable fuels, energy for a strong America, helping provide revenue vectors for our ag families, keeping America's food supply in the hands of Farm USA across the Midwest, all of those great farmers and ranchers that are in charge of our food supply, not corporatists and not foreign countries, and also keeping us less reliant on those petrodollars in the Middle East, which often get into the hands of bad guys. So we love lean, clean, and green energy from Midwest Renewable Energy, LLC, Jim and Cindy Jandron. Also, a big kudos to Jim and Cindy. Kudos to Jim and Cindy for their outstanding sponsorship of Life Runners. Go to liferunners.org. Get your t-shirt like the lovely and gracious Deborah Jacobson has done. Walk and run for life, building a culture of life for expectant mothers and their babies, helping them with their temporal and spiritual needs both before and after those babies are born. And a salute, a tip of the fedora to Dr. Patrick Castle, a great American veteran who now is leading up worldwide the folks at Life Runners. They have that tremendous walk and run across America, literally across America. Christian organization giving the power of the cross to a run across America. They do that with thousands and thousands of young and old alike, culminating often just down the road here at Benedictine College in Atchison. So, liferunners.org. Well, guys, it's cold, but, on NFL Championship Day, we know it's not all cold because people are indoors, and some might be even enjoying food libations that have some temperatures to them. And so we've got the Georgetown legend himself, Coach Patrick Mahomes Jr. Google him. He wins and won a lot in his Big East tenure, including at the mighty vaunted Georgetown University, with the first televised national women's college hoops games and a deep run in the NCAAs and Big East Championship. Now he's a big shot at New Mexico State University, has had some other great runs at Penn and at Hawaii, New Mexico State. Pat, it's great to have you back on the show, Coach. Welcome on NFL Conference Sunday and the morning after the big in-state rivalry here between our Kansas Jayhawks and our Kansas State Wildcat men's hoops teams. Coach, take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're staying warm with this frigid air blowing across the United States. We even had a dusting of snow here in the desert last night.
Wow, hard to believe.
But as we get into the NFL, we have the Tops at Denver going on right now. The Patriots are 4.5-point favorites simply because Bo Nix is starting quarterback for Denver. Denver is at home. Bo Nix is out for the playoffs with a broken ankle. Jarrett Stidham will play for him. We went through this last week a little bit. Backup quarterbacks who have led their teams to a Super Bowl after their starters were hurt during the year. But as I look at this list, John, none of them did what Jarrett Stidham has to do. Earl Morrall of the Colts, Jeff Hostetler of the Giants, Kurt Warner of the Rams, Tom Brady in 2001. We can go down the list. They all played numerous games in the regular season before they got to their championship game. So
fair point. Yeah, salient observation on your part.
Yeah, we mentioned Jim Plunkett last week. Roger Staubach actually did it in 1971, but they all played during the regular season before they got in the playoffs. So this is a big mountain to climb. Sean Payton has 1 Super Bowl under his belt. Mike Vrabel has 3 as a player, not a coach. So it'll be a creative play caller versus a very tough defensive-minded coach today. Denver will probably have to implement numerous player personnel packages and funky motion and trick plays and whatnot. But a playoff road game for Drake May, it may be too much for him to respond to. Denver is considered a big-time playoff venue. The crowd will be amped.
Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely.
Denver in the last 2 years, John, has only lost 3 games at home. The Jaguars, Steelers, Chargers.
Coach, I agree with you. I think there's a huge home field advantage for the Broncos.
Yeah, there is, but I believe, here's where I'm going. I want to see a Rams-Patriots Super Bowl.
Oh, I'm rooting for the Pats today. I love the Patriots. I love their resurgency, their great comeback story. I continue the thread, Coach.
Yeah, I want to see the 2 best quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, and that's who it would be. But that would mean both road teams win.
Wow.
So the Rams are a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 46.5.
Wow. Wow.
And there are a lot of stats on that end, too. Obviously, Matt Stafford against Sam Darnold. You got to take Matt Stafford. He's more seasoned. He's won a Super Bowl. Darnold is hurt, and people don't think he can win a big game, as shown with his last 2 stops in Carolina and in Minnesota. The Rams average 8.9 yards per passing attempt, one of the best in the league. Seattle holds teams 4.7 yards an attempt, number 1 in the league. So Seattle's defense really has to win it for them, and Denver's offense has to not lose it for them. It's going to be an interesting day overall, no doubt. But like I said at the top, I'm taking the Pats minus 4.5 and the Rams getting 2.5, and that would mean both road teams win. We shall see.
Wow, here with Coach Patrick J. Knapp Jr. Guys, this extraordinary commentary, you can get more. Coach has got a great podcast with Jerry Busone. Coach, give us the name and where we can find this wonderful podcast before we matriculate into further sports action under your aegis here today.
Yeah, Play by Play is our podcast on Spotify, Apple, anywhere else that you get your podcast. My partner's Jerry Busone. On Monday, we will have the Super Women on who look them up on Facebook. They do numerous hits on shortcuts and hacks for women and in the home. They're very entertaining, very entertaining. And the next week, we will have my ex-player, Abiho Ahunkai.
Oh, I remember Abiho, yes.
Yeah, all Big East in her last 2 years and in the Georgetown Athletic Hall of Fame. B is a sports law lawyer. She teaches sports law at Temple University, and we're going to be taking a deeper dive into eligibility, NIL, pay for play, transfer portal, and eligibility is a huge issue right now in college sports.
Coach, all your players graduated from a very tough academic school, Georgetown. Your legacy is not just championships, but champion human beings that got along well together on the court, that have remained friends for decades afterwards, and who have accomplished so much in family and business life. A great credit to your tutelage. And we want to give great credit before we continue with Coach again to all of you listening in tonight. We've got a nice audience here on a snowy and cold east central Kansas Plains, where we're the country music giant of the Plains, as well as your home and away voice. Guys, less than a month away. You're, from spring training, and actually less than 2 months away from opening day, March 27, your Kansas City Royals, as well as your Ottawa Cyclone High Schoolers and your Ottawa Braves. Schools closed here tomorrow on Monday, including Ottawa University. Now, I'm just telling you guys, up in Iowa, we wouldn't close for a measly 3 to 5 inches and merely 0 degrees centigrade. We would close also at Creighton undergrad, where the Jesuits never closed the school. We would close it if we got 3 feet of snow and if the Fahrenheit got below minus 30. There was a threshold for closure. But, Sean, I don't know why anybody's closing here in Ottawa tomorrow. I just don't understand it. Guys, you're listening in tonight from Franklin, Anderson, Miami, Lynn, Osage, Johnson, Douglas counties. We got people listening from the KC suburbs like Olathe, Williamsburg and Wellsville, Osage and Osawatomie, Gardner and Garnett, Princeton and Paola, as well as Linden and Richmond and our own Ottawa, where we carry this signal up to the capital of Topeka, where the legislature reconvenes again tomorrow morning for another week of action. We go all the way up to Emporia, right outside of the K-State Wildcats campus zone up there. And, of course, our signal is loud and proud in Lawrence, just 15 minutes up the road here. Coach will talk about the big in-state rivalry game here coming up shortly. And we want to thank the folks listening in Baldwin City, where we got Baker University, whose alum, Mike McCarthy, looks like he might have another head coaching NFL job. Let's talk about that momentarily, Coach, as we thank Jim and Cindy Jandron for sponsoring us with Midwest Renewable Energy LLC out of Southeast Nebraska, as well as Life Runners, liferunners.org. Go get your t-shirt, check out the website, Run and Walk for Life, and help those expectant mothers and the babies in the womb, both before and after they are born. Coach, the coaching carousel in the NFL. Care to comment about it all? We're just kind of interested here. Mike McCarthy, of course, an alum of 10 minutes up the road here, Baker University in Baldwin City. Coaching carousel, do you see any? We've got several openings. Any big catches? Anything solidified? Where do you think we're going in the NFL here?
Well, I think that the number one get for an NFL team went to the Giants and John Harbaugh. They need a total uprooting of that culture and better drafting and a tougher approach. Harbaugh will do that. Kevin Stefanski is probably perfect in Atlanta. He's a buddy of Matt Ryan, who's now in the front office. Stefanski is excellent with quarterbacks and offensive personnel. And Atlanta has a lot of that. They have quite a bit on the wide receiver front. They have Bijan Robinson in the backfield, and you can use Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix at the quarterback position if he's healthy. Robert Saleh takes Tennessee. That's another solid pro, a defensive guy. McCarthy takes Pittsburgh. I was kind of surprised by that. Pittsburgh hasn't gone that route in like 40 years.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too. Do you think it's because of a Rodgers connection, possibly?
It could be, but I'll tell you this, Pittsburgh needs a lot more personnel changes than some of these other teams that we're talking about.
I agree.
Jesse Minter comes from the Chargers and takes the Ravens, and Jeff Hafley leaves Green Bay as DC and goes to Miami. And they're the only ones I have right now, John.
Coach, I heard Phillip Rivers might have been auditioning. Wow, that would be quite a circuitous route. Wasn't he, was he coach in high school? Or then he gets to put his helmet on again, performs admirably at like 44 years old this year. And wow, that would be quite a promotion to become an NFL head coach. I don't know if the opening's there, but I did hear his name being bandied about.
Yeah, it was in Buffalo. A lot of people want to coach Josh Allen. Again, that's another team that has a depleted roster, not enough Pro Bowlers on either side of the ball. So that's a very controversial position with the owner and the GM throwing McDermott and players under the bus in a very controversial press conference last week.
Yes.
So we'll see where Buffalo goes. I don't think Phillip Rivers is going to get that job or any job, but I'm sure they're picking his brain about offense and Josh Allen in that interview.
Well, maybe what they should do for an interim compromise, bring back Marv Levy for one game. Hey, they brought back Harry Bud Grant, and they've brought back a couple other interim coaches in tight situations. Marv is thriving at almost 101. Bring him back, put him on the sideline. Rockney coached from a wheelchair, from a stretcher, actually. Marv can stand upright. Why not bring back Marv for one great game, fundraiser palooza, Coach?
Well, that'll be weekend at Bernie's in the ultimate there if they did that. So, no weekend at Bernie's. They're still trying to keep Joe Biden upright on the beach. We don't need Marv Levy doing it.
Well, guys, as long as we've still got, hey, William Shatner is still kicking at 95, as is Joan Collins, his co-star in the special episode City on the Edge of Forever, which I saw the other night with the lovely and gracious Deborah on H&I, shortly followed by the other epic Star Trek episode, Mirror, Mirror, with William Shatner, going to the evil universe with the bearded Spock. And guys, Barbara Luna, who might be the greatest female episodic Captain Kirk guest star in the history of Star Trek, she is still with us. I think she is 87 or 88 years old, as are several others of the Star Trek co-stars from some of those famous episodes. And Coach, we've still got Jack Nicklaus with us. Jack just turned 86 the other day, winning a huge lawsuit, and Lee Trevino is still holding out from the fairway and is playing a mean round of golf at age 86. So, Coach, there's hope for all of us. What say you?
Yeah, we can only hope that we are as blessed at that age. And what was the lawsuit that Jack won, John? Fill me in.
You know, his old business partners threw him out at his old Jack Nicklaus company, and basically he got financing years ago, and it was where the minnow kind of swallowed the fish. He became a minority owner, and then they threw him out and didn't want him to be able to use his name on stuff, and they were somewhat talking about him negatively, and he wanted his good name back, and he sued him and won multi-millions of dollars, a huge win for Jack, and he's more freed up now to use his Nicklaus name and his ventures going forward. Obviously, he's got family members that he wants to preserve a legacy for, too.
Very good. Very good. Go, Jack, go.
Hey, guys, yesterday, big day here in Kansas, the rivalry game, Kansas Jayhawks, Kansas State Wildcats. Coach, take it away.
Well, the Sunflower Showdown wasn't much of a showdown. Kansas, in the second half, dominated the K-State Wildcats and won 86-62 at K-State. Kansas next plays at home to BYU on Saturday the 31st. College Game Day of ESPN will be there, and this will feature the two best freshmen in the country, Peterson and DeBonsa for BYU, who had 43 points yesterday against Utah himself. But anyway, last night, Kansas played bully ball, put it inside. Flory Badunga dominated, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. Bryson Tiller, who's almost 7 foot as well, 16 points, 7 rebounds. Mel Council, the transfer from little old St. Bonaventure, continues to star for the Jayhawks. 17 points, 12 assists. That's a really good night. Kansas has the 12th ranked defense in the country according to the Pomeroy basketball ratings. K-State's defense is 112th, and that's what showed. K-State fouled too much. Kansas went to the line for 24 free throws. Kansas State only 14. They got out-rebounded. The Wildcats did 39-28. Thus, K-State goes to 1-6 in the league, 10-10 overall. And I'm wondering, John, when K-State faithful and the athletic department are going to start analyzing Jerome Tang's job. It's been 3 years. They had a big season. I think they went 26-10 in his first year. They've been going downhill ever since. And in this era of transfer portal and pay for play. I don't know if K-State has the resources for him or Tang just isn't identifying talent properly. This is actually a question every athletic department needs to ask in this era of the portal and pay for play. Is it my coach and coaching staff, or are we not giving them enough help?
Great.
And I think they're getting to that point with Jerome Tang.
Yeah, great point, Coach. Just look at the standings here in the Big 12 of the 16 teams. Kansas State tied for the cellar at 1-6 with Baylor and Utah. K-State at 10-10, Baylor at 11-8, Utah at 9-11. Looking at the top tier, KU all of a sudden positioned pretty well, Coach. Arizona 7-0, 20-0 overall, one of three teams at 20-0, including Iowa State. Texas Tech at 6-1. Brigham Young, Houston at 5-1. KU right there at 5-2 with a 15-5 overall record, 750 percentage. They're 8-1 at home. Coach, they're top 20 again. Number 19 is KU on the ascendancy. Have they found that magic bullet ever since the Iowa State game a week ago?
Yeah, John, I forgot to mention their top freshman, Darren Peterson, did not play last night.
Great point.
K-State. I believe Arizona, Texas Tech, BYU, Houston, Iowa State, Kansas will be in the NCAA tournament. They'll all be a factor. After that, Central Florida and West Virginia might be on the bubble. The rest of the league has faltered, shall we say, during the Big 12 season right now.
Exactly. And guys, what I was saying was a week ago we had three undefeated teams, including Iowa State. Obviously, Iowa State dropped those two back-to-back. So Iowa State now is actually right with Kansas at 5-2 in the conference with that better overall record. Coach, who else do you see on the horizon? UConn's 19-1. They're looking tough. And Nebraska, that other 20-0 team, What a Cinderella story there over in the Big Ten for the Huskers.
Well, I've watched many of their games, John, and Fred Hoiberg, the coach, has them well spread out, very disciplined on offense. They have numerous weapons to go to. It isn't a one- or two-person show there. They're ranked in the top 10. The Ken Pomeroy rankings, they are 12th. And the top teams, there are, three Big 12 teams in the top 10.
Yeah.
Three Big 12 teams in the top 20 after that. And Nebraska in the Big 10, they have some huge games coming up against Michigan, Illinois, Michigan State, Purdue. I think is a week from today, a week and a few days on February 2nd. They play Purdue at home. The Big 10 will get more than 6 teams in. I'm pretty confident about that.
Wow. Well, we've got 3 undefeateds left, Arizona, Nebraska, and then, of course, Coach, how good is a team, Miami of Ohio, over there in the Mid-American? Are they for real?
I think they're a team that can win a first-round game.
They're 25th in the polls, so it's not like they're being taken incredibly seriously.
Correct. And they're not even in the top 40 in KenPom. Which is, another metric by which these teams are rated. I'll have to watch them more closely, John, but apparently when they're talked about on any of the daises, they talk about being very deep, 8-9 deep, and scoring from the perimeter is their strength. So we shall see. Can they win the MAC? Of course. Can they win games in the NCAA tournament? Maybe one.
And final lightning round here. College football polls formally memorialize Indiana as number 1 in the nation. These polls. They got Iowa at 17 and Vandy at 15. Are you kidding me? Iowa beat Vandy. Signetti properly has Iowa at number 11. You guys know where I went to school. Coach, can you wrap up how great of an accomplishment was it this year, what Signetti and what Mendoza did? Is this one for the ages? Is this statue material, so to speak? Well,
in this era, which a lot of these coaches have got caught up in, we mentioned it earlier, John, pay for play, as well as transfer portal, This is an amazing accomplishment, one for the ages with Kurt Signetti in Indiana, because 3 years ago they were horrible, absolutely horrible.
They were.
So what happened? It's not just his iron will. It's not just his identifying talent in the transfer portal. It's not just his ability to coach these guys up. They had to pay some money for this roster.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is moving forward.
Yep, that's true. I admired Indiana. I thought the national championship football game, they had a wide array against them. I thought the officials and the home field played into Miami's hands. It could have been a devastating injury early on for Mendoza. Tough kid, played through it, and kudos to the Hoosiers. We'll have to do another Hoosiers movie, Coach. Maybe call it Hoosiers 2.
Yeah.
But I love sequels. We hope to have a sequel to this show next Sunday again at this time. We will be talking about Super Bowl stuff. Catch Coach's podcast, Play-by-Play with Jerry Busson, anywhere on any big platform like Spotify or even through our links here at the station. Coach, always good to be on with you. Kind of admiring your geographic locationing there in the desert based on being in the frozen tundra up here.
Well, we had 3 days of rain, but the sun is out now. Things are drying out. And again, like I said, we're happy not to be in the freeze zone that the rest of the country is.
So, Coach,
stay warm.
Coach, make us envious here. What's your Fahrenheit reading as we speak right now there in New Mexico?
It's 50. 50 degrees.
Do you hear the collective sound of grinding of teeth here on the East Central Plains of Kansas, Coach Knapp? Thanks for joining us. We'll have you back next week, my friend.
All right, guys, you have a great football weekend. Enjoy the games.
Guys, John Jacobson signing off for Coach Patrick J. Knapp Jr., Sean Torres, and yours truly on the Jacobson Report. Thanks to Jim and Cindy Jandron and the good folks at Midwest Renewable Energy, LLC, and at Life Runners, liferunners.org. Check it out. Until we meet again, be safe, be smart, be good, be strong, love Jesus Christ, stay warm, and God bless us, everyone. Bye-bye.